The following is an MCPS TV Cable 52 sports presentation.
This is Montgomery County's high school game of the week. This game features the Seneca Valley Screaming Eagles, coached by Dan Harwood with a 9-8 record, against the Quince Orchard Cougars with a 9-9 record. They're under the direction of Ed Davis. These two schools are neighbors and know each other well. They're also, this year, two hard luck teams, playing better than their records indicate. Well, who will Lady Luck favor tonight? Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Burke, and with me is Billy Gordon, and we're at Quince Orchard for this game. Now, many of the young men who are playing for Quince Orchard tonight played for Seneca Valley or attended Seneca Valley a couple of years ago before this school opened. So there are friends on the other side of the gym, but you may not see that on the court, as both of these schools have developed a healthy rivalry. But this year, both teams have been hard luck teams. For instance, the Cougars could be 13-5 at this point, were it not for some problems earlier in the year. Billy, let's let the folks know about that.
Carlos Jackson, their starting point guard and one of the county's most exciting players, was declared ineligible due to a ruling that he's played more than 3 years at the varsity level. Since then, however, Ed Davis's club has regrouped and has played very well down the stretch.
So they had to forfeit 4 games.
They lost 4 games out of that win column, which they could be, like you said, 13-5.
Seneca Valley, 9-8 at this point in the season. They've also had a hard luck team. But they played a heck of a game the other night against one of the county's top teams, Springbrook, losing by only 3. But the snake keeps biting them.
Exactly. Darnell Taylor, perhaps the best athlete in Seneca Valley in the school, was declared ineligible due to the academic standard here in Montgomery County. With his loss, they've had to regroup. Also, Danny Eisemann, their strong forward and one of their leading scorers, sprained an ankle yesterday and may not see any action. So the snake has bitten on both sides.
And that makes things tough for Seneca Valley because both of these guys were in double figures on average. Only one of the starters tonight for Seneca Valley will be in double figures. But they're a hustling team, and they play a mean press defense.
Exactly. Seneca Valley's club, and I've seen most of the teams in the counties, hustles, scraps as much as any team in the county. That's a testament to Danny Harwood's coaching ability and his ability to motivate players. They don't have a lot of talent, but they play extremely hard.
But the Cougars may be the best 9-9 team in this county, and they've got some height. Watch them to take the boards and watch Seneca Valley try to upset the Cougars' rhythm with the press. And we'll be back with the action in just a moment.
Live from Montgomery County Public Schools, it's Homework Hotline. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Monday through Wednesday each week, it's Homework Hotline Live. Live teachers, live on the set, answering your homework questions to make your lives a little easier. Watch Homework Hotline Live, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, 5 to 7 p.m., right here on MCPS TV 52.
And our monitor is... Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kelly Burke and Billy Gordon with you here as we're about to start this game between the Seneca Valley Screaming Eagles and the Quince Orchard Cougars. I guess you'd have to, as we mentioned in the pregame comments, that have to favor Quince Orchard here. They, of course, have piled up a record that looks the same as Seneca Valley. They're 9-9, Seneca Valley 9-8, but because there was a forfeiture of 4 games, Seneca Valley lost out on 4 games that they actually had won. But Seneca Valley's always been tough in most of their games this year. They brought a tough game against the Springbrook school the other night, losing by only 3 points. Billy Gordon, how do you think this will stack up now that we've got Darnell Taylor out and Eisemann? He's dressed, but he's limping, he's got the bad ankle.
This should be a very interesting contest and certainly an intense one. The Quince Orchard Cougars are a big team, a front line of 6'7", 6'6", and 6'5", and will tower over a smaller Screaming Eagle club. However, as I said at the top of the show, Danny Harwood's team plays with a lot of desire. As much as I've seen this year, they are motivated.
Coach Harwood told us that they press all the time. He'll use, 10 players, rotating them in and out.
Exactly.
He's brought up 3 sophomores.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're about to have the introduction of the players.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's ball game between the Seneca Valley Eagles and the Cougars of Quince Orchard. Now will you stand for the national anthem, which is sung by Carlos Jackson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The young man who sang that, Carlos Jackson, happens to be the same player who
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
was rendered ineligible to play
Now, for the
for the
starting
Cougars.
lineup.
It's kind of nice to at least see him be able to participate in some way.
First,
Now the
for
introduction
the
of the players.
Eagles of Seneca Valley, number 20, Ron Ajim.
That's Ron Ajim, their point guard. He's a left-hander, extremely quick.
Number 22, Myron Weaver.
Myron Weaver, perhaps the best athlete on the Seneca Valley club.
Both Ajim and Weaver average about 7 points a game.
Number 24, Danny Eisemann.
Here's Eisemann. He's going to try that ankle.
He sprained it yesterday in practice.
Number 42, Reggie Hildred.
Their best player currently.
12 points a game average.
And number 43, Giove.
Joe Giove plays the other
And the
forward
coach of the
position.
Eagles, Dan Harwood. Now,
Giove averages
for the
7 points a
Cougars
game. Now the
of
Cougars.
Quince Orchard. At one captain, number 10, yes, Brian Rosenberg.
That's Brian Rosenberg, their leading scorer, 16.9
At
a
the
game.
other guard, number 30, Eric Fuller.
Point guard Eric Fuller, very steady. Good ball handler.
Those are the two little guys. Now the big one.
David Harper.
David Harper, the county's leading field goal percentage shooter at 58%.
He's 6'5".
Number 42, Alfonso McFarland.
Alfonso McFarland, the big guy.
Number 54,
6'7".
another captain, Tom Dickinson.
Captain Tom Dickinson
And the
plays
coach
power
of the
forward.
Cougars, Rick Dorsey and Ed Davis. And your officials for tonight, the referee will be Jackie Long, and umpire will be Dan Peter.
Well, if you haven't heard it, the Spirits at a fever pitch here as the Screaming Eagles fans on one side and the Cougars on the other. As we told you, these are neighboring schools. Many of the students from Quince Orchard went to Seneca Valley a couple of years ago. So there's a natural rivalry built up here. some friendships too, of course. And we hope we have a friendly game tonight as well. But it'll be an interesting game to watch and see whether Eisemann, who's got a bad ankle, can hang in there tough for Seneca Valley. He averages in double figures. He can hold up. They're without Darnell Taylor. As Billy Gordon was saying earlier, everyone says that Darnell was the best athlete in Seneca Valley.
Okay, we should see Quince Orchard come out in their standard man-to-man.
McFarland's
Seneca Valley in their 2-3 matchup zone defense.
There they got it. McFarland won that jump. Cougars have the ball. Looking to go inside with it. There's Rosenberg.
He's the shooter. They'll try to free him up.
Fuller is out front. Rosenberg trying to get in Dickinson, but covered well by Seneca Valley. There's Rosenberg making the drive. Blocked.
That's Reggie Hildred on the block that time.
And Rosenberg fouled after getting his shot blocked. So it starts out that the Cougars are unable to convert their first possession, and Seneca Valley will get the ball.
You'll see a Screaming Eagle team that'll get the maximum amount of mileage out of their ball players.
Cougars are in a man-to-man. Foul is called on Dickinson.
That's a nice offensive move that time by Eisemann as he took the lane and drew the contact. He initiated the contact as a good offensive ball player will do. He'll go to the line for a pair.
His ankle held up there. He doesn't appear, he was limping in the pregame warm-ups, but not severely. Made that drive pretty well. He makes his free throw, and the Eagles are the first to get on the board. He's a 72% free throw shooter.
Eisemann is a 6'4", 180-pound senior forward, averaging 10.9 points a game.
McFarland on the boards big time. Seneca Valley does not have the size. Cougars just a little sleepy there. Ball thrown away by Eric Fuller as Rosenberg wasn't looking.
Certainly, he ran down the floor and didn't see the basketball.
Already a substitution by Seneca Valley.
And they will substitute quite freely. Tuesday night they played 10 players in the first 3 minutes of the ball game against Springbrook.
Whitman is in, Eisemann is out. So obviously Coach Harwood trying to save Eisemann. Dickinson on the board. And you can expect this much of the night. The Cougars are going to take the boards. Seneca Valley is going to have to force turnovers like that. Dickinson comes up with it though. Here's Rosenberg on the drive. Foul is called on Seneca Valley. Hildred, no block that time. Nice move by Rosenberg.
Hildred, the center for Seneca Valley, is 6'2" and only 170 pounds, and he's the big man. So you can look for this Cougar club to go to the backboard, to go to the glass, to drive, to create some foul situations.
Suddenly Eisemann is back in, and Whitman is out.
Danny Harwood will make a lot of moves from the bench.
Rosenberg, by the way, is an 83% free throw shooter. Does he have an eye or does he have an eye?
Yeah, he's one of the county's best shooters, very definitely. He's third in free throw percentage at 83%.
Ajim with the ball now. He's got to do the job that Darnell Taylor would normally do.
Nice smooth move by Eisemann on the baseline.
If his ankle is bothering him, it's not bothering him much because he's holding firm. Seneca Valley is up 3-2 over the Cougars.
Okay, full court pressure.
No problem for the Cougars. They get it to Dickinson. However, turnover. Seneca Valley is quick getting back.
That's Ajim with the steal.
A walk is called.
As you can see early on, the kind of game that the Screaming Eagles play, a very, very rapid tempo. They will run at every opportunity, and they will pressure the ball from start to finish.
Cougars among the weaknesses. That's not one of them.
That's David Harper.
David Harper, 6'5". Among the weaknesses of the Cougars, though, Coach Ed Davis says they get inconsistent. They'll play 3/4 of a game real hot and then blow 1/4. And that's out of bounds to Seneca Valley, as the Cougars are rattled a bit by Seneca Valley's pressing defense.
Exactly. Fuller that time tried to find McFarland streaking down the lane. He had a step on a defender, but the pass was just a bit late.
Ajim has it. Foul called inside on McFarland.
And looks like McFarland's going to put a little muscle on Eisemann. Eisemann's a very crafty offensive ball player.
Substitution for Seneca Valley. J.C. Lee is in. He played football. I can remember his name. Myron Weaver is out.
J.C. Lee was a fullback in that Screaming Eagle offense, and he plays the backcourt.
Good pass inside there to Reggie Hildred. Hildred converts, and there's that press again. Seneca Valley wanted to rattle the Cougars with the press, and so far they're doing fairly well with it, although it's only a 5-4 ball game. But the Cougars have not been able to get into any rhythm offensively. Nice pass inside, and Rosenberg converts.
That's an excellent delivery that time by Fuller, finding Rosenberg, who moves without the ball extremely well.
J.C. Lee on the drive, pulls up short. This is the shot. Seneca Valley called for on the foul, number 43 there.
That's Joe Giove, that time showing some leaping ability, but did not have position and went over the back.
Fuller wipes him away and brings it across himself. Rosenberg in on the drive, converts. Seems to like that baseline, Billy. He's done it about 3 times already in the ball game.
Yes, he does. Ed Davis's offense is designed to free up Rosenberg.
Dickinson almost got that rebound, but Eisemann knocked it away, and Seneca Valley comes back with a shot. Ball is out of bounds to the Cougars. Eisemann couldn't hold on to the rebound.
As we watch the Cougars offensively, you'll see Rosenberg roam from one side to the other. They will try and isolate him. He'll be running off 2 or 3 picks. But they want to get the ball in the hands of Brian Rosenberg, who knows what to do with it.
Tibbs and Weaver in now for Seneca Valley as they change the troops to keep the pressure on. Still in the 2-3 zone. Nice pass by Dickinson, or by Harper.
Very nice.
By Harper. And Fuller, just the old give and go, one of the oldest plays in basketball. Seneca Valley comes back and converts, however. Hildred.
They don't waste any time, Kelly.
No, they don't. Coach told me they like to break. Fuller's pass bounced off a Seneca Valley player, so the Cougars will retain possession. Another substitution for Seneca Valley. If we don't keep up with them, please understand.
That's Mike Volmer. That's Mike Volmer,
an
outstanding student athlete at Seneca Valley.
They do it fast and furious. J.C. Lee down with the rebound.
Excellent look that time, finding a streaking Darren Tibbs for the layup.
The Cougars are not getting back quick enough. They are leading, though, by 1 point, 10-9. Cougars are forced into a half-court offense, but they have good ability inside especially. There's McFarland. What a reverse move.
Outstanding catch, collected himself, and made the shot.
3-point play there by Myron Weaver for Seneca Valley. And we got a tie ball game at 12-12. Action is fast and furious here. Fuller moving inside with it, comes back out and sets up the play.
Yeah, this pace favors the Screaming Eagles. Up tempo. There's Harper.
Boy, he changed his mind in the middle of his jump there on whether to pass or shoot, and still kept good control.
As we stated earlier, this Harper leads the county in field goal percentage, shooting a 58%.
That's a whole lot better than Larry Bird.
You better believe it. That's higher than most people in the country.
Seneca Valley coming back, though. The Cougars, Coach Ed Davis feels their defense is as good as their offense, but they have not been able to stop the Eagles. And we've got a foul there.
That's Rosenberg going to the basket with a hesitation move, drawing the foul.
You don't want to foul him. 83% free throw shooter. A whole five people coming in for Seneca Valley now. Whole scale shift here. And they'll keep pressing. Ajim is in. Joe Giove is in. For 44, James Whippen is in. Mike McCullough is in. And Hildred stays in.
Good look at Brian Rosenberg. Again, shooting 83% from the foul line. He's a jump shooter, 43% from the field.
Dickinson sits down for the Cougars, and Aaron Duffin, a tough six-man, comes in.
Yes, Duffin's a guy to watch, definitely. A point guard, very, very tough, a superb athlete.
Also in for the Cougars, number 50, Kenny Chawing. With 2:22 to go in the first period here.
2-2-1 full court zone press that time by the Cougars, forces a turnover.
Yeah, Ed Davis switched him up there, and Ajim wasn't ready for it. It's called for the walk. The Cougars, with a 2-point lead, get a chance to move up by 4. Duffin is out at the point guard now. Over to Rosenberg. There's Harper going baseline again.
Good
nice
shot.
Play by Hildred.
Good defense by Hildred. There's Rosenberg.
Rosenberg's a heady player.
He certainly is. Displays a lot of poise, and certainly the court sense is there. Good bounce pass.
Excellent passing by the Cougars.
Excellent ball movement without question.
James Whippen on that score for the Cougars. Seneca Valley inside to Hildred. He makes a beautiful jump hook.
Yes, nice looking move that time by Hildred. He's their leading scorer.
Cougars are up by 2. Quite a game. We expected Seneca Valley to have a few more problems because of the loss of Darnell Taylor and with Eisemann's ankle upset, but it's obvious that Dan Harwood's team is, with that pressing defense, they've got a lot of guys who are experienced and can play the game. Duffin forces the shot up, but he's fouled.
Yeah, Weaver hit him on the jumper. In fact, knocked him down.
Duffin will go to the line.
Aaron Duffin, a 5'10", 150-pound junior point guard, averaging 6.9 points a game.
Harper sits down now for the Cougars, takes a break. And number 44, Antoine Pritchard, is in for the Cougars. Duffin makes them both.
And the Cougars are perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line.
There's some pressure from the Cougars, but Seneca Valley gets it over the line. Ajim setting up a play here.
Okay, the Cougars have changed defenses. They're now in a 2-3 zone defense.
There's Eisemann, caught under the boards though. Ajim sinks the jumper though, nicely with about 45 seconds left in this quarter.
Nice looking shot that time from about 12, 13 feet.
41 seconds left, and the Cougars are setting up. Looks like they're going to set up for one shot here. Screaming Eagles come out on them with about 30 seconds to go.
They've also changed defensively. They're now in a man-to-man defense.
Ball goes inside. Nice block by Eisemann.
Yes, sir.
And here comes the break by Seneca Valley. Beautiful pass to Hildred, and Hildred is fouled. Let's see whether the basket counts. I don't think so. I think
That was
it's
an
before the shot.
outstanding pass that time by Ajim on the break. That's a no-look pass. Ajim is a sophomore point guard. 5'9", 150 pounds.
It's a possession call, so it was before the shot. With 16 seconds, Seneca Valley will have a chance. Good defense by Kenny Chawing.
Plenty of time to get off a good shot, Kelly.
Eisemann goes to the inside. He could get called for 3 here. They didn't catch it.
Nice,
He makes the basket. And that score is tied with 10 seconds to go. The Cougars will try to get one here. Rosenberg doesn't move it up very quickly, though. He's got 4. They're not even going to try the shot. Yeah, they do. Number 30, Eric Fuller, misses that last shot. And at the end of the first quarter of play, we've got a tie ball game here. Seneca Valley Screaming Eagles 20, the Quince Orchard Cougars 20. And we'll be back with second quarter in just a moment.
I hear it too.
Communication skills are essential. It takes a lot of work to develop them, especially if you're hearing impaired.
Sounds like shaking feet.
You can help your hearing impaired child develop these skills in many ways. Tune in to Stop, Look, and Listen and learn how. Tuesdays and Wednesdays on MCPS TV 52.
Well, that was a very interesting first quarter of play as we've got the Seneca Valley team 20 and Quince Orchard 20. Both teams have similar records on paper, although the Cougars actually, without the forfeits, would be significantly better in the record. But Seneca Valley is really putting some pressure on and causing the Cougars problems. And Billy, they're breaking as they always do.
Exactly. They will look for every advantage possible. And this racehorse transition offense that Danny Harwood certainly has installed, and they're motivated to beat this club up here.
Seneca Valley takes the ball out. Both teams are shooting well, by the way.
Both teams shooting well over 50% in the first quarter. Seneca Valley 8 for 13 from the field. The Cougars 7 for 11.
Nice feed into Eisemann. Rosenberg thought he got a clean stop there, but the referee called the foul, and Eisemann will go to the line. He was turning to shoot.
It looks like Eisemann's going to be able to perform, Kelly, on that twisted ankle.
Yeah, let me tell you, talking to Dan Harwood this morning, he was crying the blues, but maybe it was a little tactic on his part. Although Eisemann, he is favoring it a bit, but he's playing well. He makes his free throw. He's a 72% free throw shooter, as we said earlier in the ball game.
6'4", 180-pound senior forward.
They need him in there because he's one of the few guys with size for Seneca Valley. Misses the second shot, however. McFarland goes up high to get that rebound.
Okay, Fuller and Duffin are in the backcourt along with Rosenberg, so this is a 3-guard set for the Cougars.
Fuller from the top of the key does not make it. McFarland fights for the rebound with Eisemann. Eisemann goes down. McFarland follows the shot.
Yeah, that time, excellent hustle by the Cougars.
Duffin put the shot up, and McFarland made a nice play. McFarland averages 8 points a game and about 8 rebounds a game.
Nice pass. Oh, sweet pass by Ajim. Moving down the baseline, he threw that one over his shoulder.
And Hildred put it in. Here's Duffin. He's getting pursued, though. Nice defense, but McFarland picks it up, goes up with it. Foul is not called on Seneca Valley. It's called, on the Cougars, it's called on Seneca Valley, a charging foul. 2 men on
Alfonso McFarland that time called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, McFarland called instead of Seneca Valley. He tried to go into 2 players, put the ball up. Ajim now trapped there and tied up by Fuller. Excellent play by the Cougars.
That was superb defensive pressure that time by the Cougars, applying the trap in the backcourt.
The Cougars have a chance to retake the lead. They're down by 1. Here's Duffin with a jumper. In and out, tipped up by Harper, no good, and Seneca Valley on the boards. Here's Ajim looking to Giove, jump hook, and he makes it.
Very nice move that time. Set up again by Ron Ajim, the sophomore point guard.
And he's filling big shoes here as Darnell Taylor is out. Cougars mishandle the ball, and Ajim comes back with it. Looks
Nice
inside
pass.
to Hildred. Nice block by Dickinson, however,
Great block.
for the Cougars. Stops that fast break just in time, too, because the Cougars are down by 3. There's Duffin trying to go for it. McFarland gets impatient there and shoves J.C. Lee on the boards. That's McFarland's 3rd foul.
That's a foul of frustration that time. McFarland got hit when he collected the rebound. The officials did not see it, and he retaliated.
And that hurts the Cougars because McFarland's their biggest guy. And he's got 3 fouls on him.
Basketball is such a fast-paced game that it's impossible for 2 individuals to see all of the contact. It's important for a ball player to remember that maintaining composure will help the club be successful and not retaliate and reach out and lash back. Okay, halftime, just like to mention that I'll have a chance to talk with Carlos Jackson, the young man who did such an outstanding job singing the national anthem, who was the starting point guard here for the last year and a half. And we'll talk to Carlos about some of the things he's involved in now and about his prospects for the future. Looking forward to that.
The game has gone in pattern pretty close to the way it was described to us by the coaches. Seneca Valley, pressure defense, breaking like crazy. The Cougars playing good on the boards, a good half-court game. Also playing some good defense, and it's close. The Seneca Valley is leading 25-22, which may be a bit of a surprise to some since they have lost Darnell Taylor and Eisemann's got a bad ankle.
Yeah, this club plays everybody tough. They're a very, very hard club to defend. They're small, they're quick, and they play at full speed.
J.C. Lee, kind of a wide body at the line. He likes to mix it up under the boards.
Yeah, JC's a fine athlete. He may carry a little bulk, but he's a guard. He's an outstanding ball handler and a fine three-point shooter.
He puts the Eagles up by 4.
JC's 5'11", 200 pounds, and just a junior.
He makes the second one. Seneca Valley's up by 5 points now. The Cougars have got to convert here. Here's Rosenberg. He misses the shot, however, and Seneca Valley's Eisemann gets on the boards. J.C. Lee brings it back. Boy, they like to break out quick.
That's excellent defense that time by J.C. Lee on Rosenberg in transition.
And Seneca Valley moving the ball well, too.
Weaver again from downtown.
Big three-point shot by Weaver, and all of a sudden, we've got an 8-point lead by Seneca Valley, and the Cougars mishandle the ball. Their rhythm's completely upset here. They're down by 8, and Seneca Valley has the ball. Coach Ed Davis mentioned to me before the game that one problem Quince Orchard has had this season is being consistent. They've got some inexperience on the court, but Seneca Valley mishandles the ball there, and the Cougars will get a chance now to try to get the score a little closer.
That was J.C. Lee trying to throw the lob to Mike Volmer that time, a little off target.
Fuller is out front now. Duffin is still in there, however. As McFarland is on the bench because he's got 3 fouls. So things are a little more even on the boards now for Seneca Valley. Here's Harper inside. He goes up with it. Eisemann plays him tough, though. Rosenberg on the boards. And he makes the shot. A nice setup.
Nice turnaround jumper that time in traffic.
6-point difference now. Seneca Valley comes back fast.
Great block by Harper.
Harper on the block. And the Cougars come back fairly quick. Here's Duffin. He's fouled by Lee.
A little too physical that time.
Some nice defensive play.
As JC moved in on young Mr. Duffin.
We have 4:43 to go in the second quarter of play here. And Seneca Valley is up by 6 over Quince Orchard Cougars. Seneca Valley is substituting 3 more players, and Ed Davis of Quince Orchard, the coach, is upset at this turnaround here, as apparently a foul was called on Quince Orchard and not on Seneca Valley. It looked clear to us that it was J.C. Lee on the foul.
I certainly don't understand what's going on.
But he's going to get a chance to shoot here. I don't know. He should be a salesman, perhaps.
No, Aaron Duffin had the basketball and was hit by J.C. Lee. And how JC can get to the foul line.
Well, he makes the most of it and puts Seneca Valley up by 7. Got another chance at it.
Stranger things have happened, Kelly?
Ed Davis is mighty upset.
Yeah, the unusual thing about that is when a player has the basketball, very seldom will, if an offensive foul is called, if the defender will go to the foul line and shoot.
Another substitution. Ajim back in. Lee goes out. And Quince Orchard substituting now. Pritchard back in. Dickinson out. So in terms of size on the court, the teams are now pretty evenly matched because Dickinson and McFarland, 2 big guys for Quince Orchard, are out of there. Harper's the only big fella in now. So Davis is trying to match up with speed here. Got Duffin, Fuller, and Rosenberg, all kind of little guys offensively.
Yeah, the advantage in quickness and speed goes to the Screaming Eagles.
Here's Rosenberg on a nice move.
Very nice move. And we have a foul called on number 44, Pritchard, as he pushed Eisemann, and this will result in a 1-and-1 opportunity for the Screaming Eagles.
Quince Orchard not at all happy with the officiating at the moment. Duffin has gone out of the game. He's got a thigh injury. Chawing is in now for the Cougars, along with Pritchard, Fuller, and Rosenberg and Harper. There's Eisemann at the line. He misses the free throw.
That's a front end of a 1-and-1. That's an opportunity to score 2 points.
Cougars still having trouble getting in their rhythm.
That matchup 2-3 zone defense is giving them a lot of trouble.
And they call a timeout. The Cougars call a timeout with 3:59 to go in this second quarter of play, and it's obvious the Cougars are having some troubles. Seneca Valley has played a tough, aggressive defense that has upset the rhythm of the Cougars, and the Cougars have been having some problems keeping up with the fast break.
Exactly. The speed and quickness factor has certainly come to the forefront. They've beaten them down the floor. They've been able to get off easy shots, layups, 5-foot jumpers. Hence, a 6-point lead for the Screaming Eagles. The Cougars, on the other hand, are having a very difficult time getting the ball inside to the big people to take advantage of that size difference. And until they can do that, they're going to have some trouble. I know this the Seneca Valley Screaming Eagle Club will play hard and with this kind of intensity from start to finish.
Dan Eisemann and Reggie Hildred have scored 16 of the 32 points for Seneca Valley in this first half so far. And Rosenberg, as he usually does, has dominated the offense for Quince Orchard. He scored 12 of 26 points for Quince Orchard. Quince Orchard has the ball. They got to do something here. Got to get it going.
Look for Harper or Rosenberg to take some shots. That's a block by Hildred.
2 blocks by Hildred on Harper. Rosenberg saves that ball from going over the half-court line, as Quince Orchard was able to get that rebound. Fuller unable to get the pass off. Here's Rosenberg setting. Missing the shot, however, but Quince Orchard gets the boards. Seneca Valley called on the foul.
Giove that time fouling Harper. A reach-in foul.
6-point lead for Seneca Valley. The Cougars trying to get something going.
And both teams are in the penalty now, so whenever there's a foul called on a defender, there will be the 1-and-1 opportunity.
Harper misses the shot, and Seneca Valley comes off with the boards. Eisemann. Here's a 3-point attempt. No good. Quince Orchard gets the bound. Here's Fuller. Mishandles the ball, but brings it back out again.
Wisely brings it back out. Did not force the issue. Heads-up play by Eric Fuller.
with 2:50 left in the game, or in the first half of play, and Fuller hits one. And finally, the Cougars shake out of it. 4-point difference here. Clock is stopped as Eisemann had a little injury there. Ajim brings it up now
And breaks
against
the
the pressure. Hildred with it, moves inside, double pump.
He's traveling.
No basket, called on the travel. Eisemann has something wrong with his eye. He's having some trouble there. With 2:40 left, the Cougars take it. They brought it back to within 4. Fuller with it out front to Rosenberg. Back to Fuller. Here's Harper. Looks inside.
Nice
Chawing.
Oh, great block by Hildred.
Hildred's got to have 6 blocks this half. Harper moves inside. Another block by Hildred, but they call the foul this time.
Fouls on Myron Weaver.
Both Hildred and Weaver were up their arms.
Aggressive defense by the Screaming Eagles. Great timing. This is not a big ball club. Hildred is only 6'2". Weaver goes 6'1".
Pritchard's at the line. He's not a very good free throw shooter, 46%. This is his first one.
Good foul.
Misses the second one, but Harper gets on the boards. Foul is called against Seneca Valley, as Harper made a very aggressive move off the line there.
Yeah, that time he was not blocked out. The Screaming Eagles are going to have to box out and keep guys like Harper and McFarland and Dickinson off the board.
Giove is out of the ball game, and Dustin Purkey, the 6'1 senior, is in.
And presently, every Screaming Eagle ball player has seen some action in this first half.
Harper misses the free throw, misses a chance to bring him within 3, and Seneca Valley's back with it. Ajim with the ball. 2 minutes left in the first half. Contact there, but no call.
Good no call. No advantage.
Chawing, nice hustle there, gets the ball out to Fuller with 1:45 to go in the half. The Cougars have a chance to move it to within 2. Maybe 1 if somebody hits a three-pointer. Here's Rosenberg. Cougars are setting up, showing a lot of patience now. They've gathered themselves well here in the last part of this quarter.
Yeah, they'll look for Rosenberg or Harper.
There's Rosenberg, but he misses the shot. Harper comes up with a rebound, however.
Strong rebound, nice touch on the follow.
2-point lead now for Seneca Valley as the Cougars have come back. There's J.C. Lee driving. He knocks Chawing down, no call, however. Seneca Valley's Eisemann puts the ball in, the bucket in. 4-point lead with 45 seconds to go in the first half. The Cougars come back to try to bring it back to within 2. Looks like the Cougars will play for 1 shot. Ed Davis, a coach at Gaithersburg for 8 years. He's now in his 2nd year here at Quince Orchard. Trying to keep his Cougars from losing poise. Wants to get within 2 here as the half ends. Got about 15 seconds now. They'll be looking for the shot. Harper misses the shot. Seneca Valley gets the boards, but they throw the ball away.
4 seconds of play that time as Hildred collected it, but the outlet pass went astray.
Harper will inbounds it. He does to
Full court
Rosenberg.
pressure. Rosenberg will try and get his jumper off. He does.
He makes it a 3-point play to move within 1, and all of a sudden the Cougars gets a momentum change at the end of the first half of play. And boy, they needed that. They've been struggling most of that first half. Well, that's an interesting way to end the first half. We had a tie at the end of the first quarter. We're 1 point difference here. Billy Gordon will be interviewing Carlos Jackson during the half. The score at the end of the first half, Screaming Eagles 34, Cougars 33.
My mother, she drinks a lot, and it got me addicted.
Drinking and taking me so far down, I had to get out of my house.
It made me do things that I never thought I'd do.
If I take one drink, I'm going to take another and another because I can't control myself, and I'll die.
Hey, yo, alcohol is a drug, and you can get hooked on it. And the younger you start, the more damage you can do. Word.
I'm cool in my way, not by drinking. But now I can see going to college.
Say no and say yes to your life.
Okay, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Mr. Carlos Jackson, the young man who sang the national anthem for us at the beginning of the game and who was, up until just recently, the starting point guard for Ed Davis's Cougar basketball team. I think the public knows that the issue of your ineligibility was very well publicized, but I'd like to say to you now, what do you see for Carlos Jackson in the future?
Oh, well, first of all, Mr. Gordon, I'd like to start off by saying, you know, it was a real pleasure playing underneath Coach Davis and playing for the Quince Orchard Cougars. I mean, you know, they have a lot of nice people here who's willing to help me, and, you know, it was a pleasure, and I couldn't ask for more.
You plan on graduating in June, correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
Definitely. What are your plans for the future?
Well, I got my coach looking at a couple colleges for me, even though, I was ineligible. A couple coaches came out and saw me in my previous games, and I'm hoping to get in, start next college next fall.
I've seen you play, Carlos, and you are an outstanding and very explosive player, and it gave me a great deal of pleasure to see you perform, and hopefully I'll see you again. About this Seneca Valley Quince Orchard game, what do you see the Cougars doing down the stretch, and what do you think their chances are in the playoffs?
Well, I'll tell you like this. If they get back on defense and keep up the intensity, they can beat this team, and they go to playoffs, and I'm sure we'll do well.
Carlos also is very, very talented in some other areas. Your singing ability is outstanding, and he also has some acting ability. So thanks an awful lot for being our halftime guest.
Thanks to you, Mr. Gordon.
Welcome back to the home of the Quince Orchard Cougars. We've got a one-point game here, quite a game, between Seneca Valley and Quince Orchard. 34-33. Interestingly, both teams are playing like the coaches said they'd, the style of play the coaches said they'd play, but Quince Orchard has not been able to get into the rhythm that they would have liked to have gotten into. Their second quarter, they sort of had a problem in the beginning of the quarter. You can see Billy Gordon and Kelly Burke here with you. You can see from the stats that what the breakdown is.
Seneca Valley shooting a sizzling 62% from the field. Quince Orchard down 41% free throws. Quince Orchard made their first 6, missed their last 4. Seneca Valley 66%, 6 of 9. 3-point field goals. Myron Reaver, the only scorer from that distance. He was 2 for 3. Quince Orchard was 1 for 1, and that was Rosenberg. Rebounds just about even, with Quince Orchard holding a slight advantage.
And that's a surprising stat, that's that close, because Quince Orchard has the size. But McFarland got in foul trouble. 3 fouls in that first half and had sat most of that second quarter, and that might have been a factor too in Quince Orchard's struggling. Their shooting, where they were 12 for 28, which was not as good as Seneca Valley's. Quince Orchard had 15 from Rosenberg, 6 from Harper, 5 from McFarland. Dickinson didn't have any, and they've got to have Dickinson perform. He's one of the big guys underneath. Duffin had 2, Fuller had 2, Pritchard had 2. For Seneca Valley, Hildred had 8. He played a good game defensively in that first half as well. Eisemann had 10. Now this is a guy who's on a bum ankle, doing quite well out there for having sprained his ankle yesterday. Weaver, his 6 points are the result of 2 shots, 2 3-pointers. Ajim has 2 points, but he's been a good field general out there in place of Darnell Taylor, the star Seneca Valley performer, who is, unfortunately for him, ineligible. And we're back in play here, starting the third quarter of this ball game with a 1-point lead for Seneca Valley.
And the Cougars come out in a 2-3 zone defense.
They've got their starting lineup, the lineup they started the game with in there. Dickinson, McFarland, Harper, Fuller, and Rosenberg. Seneca Valley drives. Shot's no good, but Viola gets the boards. Dickinson is called for the foul.
Yes, that was Joe Giove, the 6'2", 175-pound senior forward. collecting that rebound and attempting to stick it back in as he was hit on the arm that time by Dickinson.
Quince Orchard's coach, Ed Davis, said that they really need this game. With only 2 games left in order to get into the playoffs, they need this game. And so he is really hoping that the Cougars can come back in this second half.
Exactly. This is a crucial time of year with teams jockeying for those last few remaining playoff spots in their respective regions. And Quince Orchard is pretty much can decide their own fate.
And Dickinson has already been taken out of the ball game after that foul. He must be in foul trouble. Antoine Pritchard is in for him. Rosenberg, oh, he wanted to shoot that 3-pointer, decides against it. Passes inside to McFarland, makes a nice reverse. Tries to go for his rebound on the miss.
That's a nice pass that time by McFarland.
I'll tell you who played tough in there that time on that boards. And
Joe Giove again?
Joe Giove, and he's surprising Quince Orchard. Beautiful play by Ajim inside.
Sir. Touchdown to Rosenberg.
The Cougars come back with a fast break of their own. Rosenberg misses the shot, however.
He was fouled by Weaver.
He misses the layup. He needed that layup. But he'll go to the line for 2, and he's an 83% free throw shooter.
Yeah, a guy with the moxie of Rosenberg, I was surprised he just put that ball up on the right-hand side and gave Weaver an opportunity to block it. I thought he'd come under the rim and perhaps use the rim to his advantage.
He makes it.
This Quince Orchard club has statistical leaders in every category offensively. And there you see one of the county's best free throw shooters.
He's got 17 points.
Weaver.
And Weaver decides not to go 3-point range, but sinks 2 there. Rosenberg penetrates, but is blocked by Hildred.
Yes, excellent defense that time by Hildred and Weaver. They both got a hand on that.
Ajim throws the pass to Weaver, misses that 3-pointer, and Quince Orchard comes off with the bound Fuller. The Cougars trying to step up the tempo a little bit from what they did the first half. They were running a little bit more than they were. Moving the ball on the perimeter. Seneca Valley playing a good, tough 2-3 zone.
Excellent interior defense, but great passing.
Nice passing there, but Cougars come up with the bound. Blocked, however, by Hildred, but he's called for the foul.
Excellent defensive series that time. The Screaming Eagles will not back down. They refuse to.
Cougars did work it in well, but they missed their shot.
Lee and Purkey reporting the game for Giove and Weaver.
Fuller now will go to the line. Not a great free throw shooter.
In and out, Eric Fuller, 6 foot, 158-pound junior guard, averages 4.9 points a game.
He can bring the Cougars to within 2 here.
One of the leading assist makers in the county with averaging about 5 a game.
And he does. We've got 38-36 ball game. Seneca Valley in the lead.
Ball handling.
Boy, Seneca Valley got it down quick.
Great up fake that time by Reggie Hildred as he got Alfonso McFarland in the air. And when you're in the air, buddy, you're at the mercy of the offensive ball player.
And that's McFarland's 4th foul, and Coach Ed Davis is looking for somebody to put in for him early in the 3rd quarter here. And boy, that can hurt the Cougars because Davis needs that height on the board. Seneca Valley plays so aggressively. Got to hand it to Ron Ajim, too, Billy Gordon, for moving that ball up court.
Yes, that time he single-handedly beat the trap. He's just split 2 defenders and created that transition opportunity.
Chawing has been brought into the ball game for McFarland, who's in foul trouble. Cougars got to get some performance out of some other players. Because McFarland and Dickinson, the 2 tallest guys on their team are on the bench. And Seneca Valley likes it that way.
Yeah, they're packing that 2-3 zone defense in, and once one of the shooters gets his hands on it, and out comes a defender. There's Rosenberg, baseline.
Misses the shot, but
nice follow by Pritchard.
Pritchard comes up nicely on that board.
Antoine Pritchard, 6'2", 175-pound junior.
Seneca Valley on the break again. Missed shot there, but the boards are taken by Hildred.
Reggie Hildred once again.
Chawing on the foul. And that's what Seneca Valley is doing well with Dickinson and McFarland out of there. Hildred and Giove, when he was in there, were getting the boards. And that's making all the difference in the world.
They're not big, they're not strong, but they certainly do make up for it in hustle and desire and intensity.
Dustin Purkey had put the shot up, and Hildred got the bound. He can make this a 3-point play, and he does. And Seneca Valley is up now by 6 points. 44-38. Cougars into Rosenberg. He makes a nice move. He was fully covered there, but kept his composure and stepped inside.
Excellent ball fake that time.
Rosenberg has 19 points now. Foul is called on Pritchard as Ajim drove the lane.
Ajim's a hard guy to handle, Kelly. I tell you, he doesn't turn the ball over.
He has excellent court vision. And he just loves to break with that ball.
Another one of the fine sophomore performers we've had a chance to see this year, Kelly.
Harwood brought up 3 sophomores for this game because he didn't know whether Eisemann, how well Eisemann would be able to go. Purkey with it. Back out to Ajim. J.C. Lee to Purkey. They're content to move the ball on the outside. Fuller makes a gamble, but Ajim misses the opportunity, and the Cougars come back with it with 4 minutes left in the third quarter of play. Harper's been a little quiet so far in this quarter. Let's see how he does here. Does just fine.
He needs to get involved. One of the concerns that Ed Davis has about Harper is he doesn't shoot the ball enough, and they need his scoring. Great block by Harper.
Nice defense there by Harper and Chawing as Purkey was blocked. They can tie the ball game here, the Cougars. But Seneca Valley has successfully kept. Well, Harper misses, follows the shot, and he's fouled by Purkey.
That's a nice follow that time by Harper. That's a fundamental basketball.
He actually waited on it, but he was fortunate because Seneca Valley didn't move to the ball on the bound.
Yeah, he got a fortunate bounce, but to all of the young ball players out there, when you take that 15, 20-foot jump shot, don't watch it and look at the beauty of it. Follow the basketball to the rim. You might get a rebound.
Whole scale substitution now by Seneca Valley. Volmer's in there, Giove's back in there, Weaver's back in there.
Rosenberg.
And Whitman is back in there. Rosenberg's been a little cold this quarter. Fight for the rebound, and the Cougars keep it. Some fierce battling on the boards there, Billy.
As tipped out by Mike Volmer, who's playing the middle for the Screaming Eagles.
Cougars having some trouble getting the ball out, or in, I should say. Rosenberg, the scoring machine for the Cougars, with the ball. Harper loses the handle. He's looking to do something with it before he had it.
Yeah, it's a good pass that time by Brian.
The Cougars have not been able to break the lead of Seneca Valley. They've come close. They're within 2 here. So it's anybody's ball game.
That's Adrian Bledsoe playing the point now for the Cougars, number 20. Adrian's a junior. Goes about 5'10".
Seneca Valley into...
Nice pass. Traveling at time as an excellent lob pass by Ajim to Mike Volmer, but he shuffled his feet.
That was too bad for Seneca Valley. That was a great play. Pritchard into Bledsoe.
Ajim
Pritchard
again.
Mishandles the ball and fouls.
Ajim took it from him.
Cougars having trouble getting the handle.
Ron Ajim is quite impressive. I saw him play on Tuesday night, Kelly, and he played head up with Chris McGuthrie, the fine sophomore point guard for John Barrett's Springbrook Blue Devils, and it was pretty much a standoff. This kid can play.
Well, Ed Davis of the Cougars is looking for what he calls some killer instinct in his Cougars, and he needs it here. They're down by 2. Ajim makes his free throw. He's a 77% free throw shooter, so he can put it in.
A lot of fine sophomore point guards around the county. Ajim, McGuthrie, young man over at Paint Branch, Riley Inge. Bodes well for the future for Montgomery County basketball.
Got a chance here to put Seneca Valley up by 4, and he does. The Cougars come up, being pressured a bit. Here's Harper. Don't necessarily want Harper bringing the ball up.
Half-court trap.
Rosenberg, a three-pointer. No good. And Weaver gets the ball stolen by Harper. Foul by Weaver, and Harper may go to the line here. If it's
probably not. Possession
call. More substitutions. Fuller is back in for Quince Orchard.
That's J.C. Lee, that's Eisemann and Hildred.
Seneca Valley bringing back in some of their starters, but for Lee, he was not a starter.
He's a finisher, Kelly.
Sure is. Quince Orchard can't be too unhappy given the fact that Dickinson and McFarland have been sitting the bench. They're still within range of taking this game, even with their 2 tallest players having been out most of the time here.
Well, with the big people in the game, they were at such a disadvantage with the quickness factor. And Coach Davis has decided to rest the big guys. They were not controlling the backboard as it was. Nice
play by Chawing.
Excellent effort that time. Tremendous hustle. That matchup zone defense of Screaming Eagles is giving the Cougars all they can handle. Watch Rosenberg come down off his pick on the baseline. He's trying to free himself.
And that's where the height theoretically should help if they had them in there. But as you were saying, they weren't playing as tough under the boards before as you would have expected. Give the credit, I think, to Hildred and to Eisemann. They played tough inside for their size.
They certainly do. They go 6'2", and Eisemann's listed at 6'4". He's certainly down on the floor. He looked to be about 6'2" also. But they're smart ball players, and Hildred is a very, very quick leaper with outstanding timing defensively.
Pritchard will go to the line here.
Antoine presently with 4 points and 4 rebounds.
Misses the free throw, however, and Hildred comes off with it, and there goes Seneca Valley on the break. Ajim with it.
Nice pass.
J.C. Lee throws up the fake, then the shot, but it's short. Pritchard coming back with it on a break to Rosenberg. Rosenberg puts it up. Nice body control.
Yes, excellent left-handed shot that time off glass, as Brian Rosenberg has scored 21 points.
Offensive foul on Ajim. Chawing, nice setting himself there defensively. Ajim likes to bring that ball up and finally got caught.
And let's say a little bit about Kenny Chawing, who's come in and has created some situations on both ends. He's 6'3" and 185 pounds, just a junior.
Rosenberg has 21 points now. That's above his average. And we have a 2-point ball game here as Seneca Valley is still ahead, 46-44, but the Cougars are coming back. Here's Rosenberg again, and he puts it in, a three-pointer.
Rosenberg's going to get his rhythm if they give him that shot.
He's got 24 now. J.C. Lee comes back with it. And he gets it back.
JC at the right place at the right time. Let's see if McFarland takes it.
Every time the Cougars seem to start to make a move, Seneca Valley comes back on that break. We got 10 seconds or so left here in the third quarter of play. Got a barn burner.
J.C. Lee showed you the advantage of following up your shot that time. He took the jumper and got it back.
Fuller misses with 3 seconds to go, and that ends the third quarter of play here. Got an exciting ball game. Seneca Valley still leads, though, 48-47 over the Quince Orchard Cougars. And we'll be back in just a moment with the fourth quarter of play. Stay with us.
Turn us on and discover a world of knowledge on MCPS TV. Journey through different lands, experience cultures abroad, and right here in Montgomery County. We're cable channel 52, MCPS TV.
Well, sit back for a great fourth quarter here. We've had a great game. 20-20 at the end of the first quarter, a 1-point difference at the half, a 1-point difference here at the end of the third quarter. Some great play here between Seneca Valley and Quince Orchard. This is the way you like to see it.
Yes, Danny Harwood doing a very fine job with this Seneca Valley club. And Ed Davis also does a very, very good job here at Quince Orchard. Ed having previously coached at Gaithersburg and Rockville. So he's one of the veteran coaches in Montgomery County.
The Cougars take the ball first here in the fourth quarter. They'd like to keep the momentum going. They've been coming back. But every time they seem to make a move, Seneca Valley comes back on that fast break. Chawing a nice move to the basket, but misses the shot. We've got a pile up here. Chawing really hustles in there.
That's a good effort. Good effort. And possession will go to the Screaming Eagles.
Giove also in there in that pileup. Everybody holds their tempers, though, which is great.
You can measure height, you can measure weight, but there is no yardstick for hustle, desire, intensity.
And Ed Davis was mentioning that earlier. He says that his team sometimes doesn't have that killer instinct, and that speaks to the intensity you have when you... Harper, a great play.
Great play by Harper.
And another great play by J.C. Lee to stop that shot, but Harper prevented the inbounds pass. Things are heating up.
David Harper at 6'5", plays both ends of the court, and that time made an exceptional defensive play on stealing the inbound pass.
J.C. Lee came back to stop the easy layup by Pritchard. Fouled him, however. Pritchard will go to the line, 4-2.
Not only did he steal the pass, but he made an excellent feed to Pritchard.
And we have a tie ball game again. As the Cougars have their first chance in a long time to take the lead here. They miss it.
It's Giove.
Giove on the boards. He's been sneaky tough all game on the boards. And still the Cougars are going without their two biggest people, McFarland and Dickinson. They're on the bench.
Hildred following up his miss, and the putback.
Nice shot. Seneca Valley goes back up by 2.
And again, the example of following up your shot.
Fuller moves the ball up court nicely. There's Pritchard with a shot. He's short. Hildred on the bound for Seneca Valley. Back and forth action here.
There's JC from three-point land. Will he take it?
He does. And he makes it.
JC Lee from downtown.
And just when the Cougars think they're starting to come back, something else.
That's a double dribble.
Happens by Seneca Valley. But Rosenberg hits. He's got 26 now. We got a 3-point difference here. Boy, they're lighting him up here at the Quince Orchard gym.
JC from downtown again. Will he take it?
No, he's guarded this time by Pritchard. There's Eisemann looking to shoot. No go, though. Brings it back out to Ajim. Set it up now. They're in a man-to-man now, the Cougars. Blocked by Harper. Foul is called on Chawing. A little too anxious and aggressive on defense there. He's played
Just
a good
little
game.
bit of the body there, Kelly.
He's played well off the bench, though.
He plays with a lot of intensity. He gives it all, every bit, 110%.
Weaver is back into the ball game now. Lee is out. Dickinson comes back in, and Chawing goes out. Dickinson, Ed Davis said, is like, well, he's a guy who just hasn't really quite fully bloomed as everyone had hoped. He hasn't got a lot of experience, though. He hasn't played much basketball before. With his size, though, they would hope he'd come on a little bit stronger. He got into foul trouble, which hurt him in this ball game. He's good and aggressive on the boards, however. It may make a difference here as we come down the stretch.
Giove with an opportunity to put the Screaming Eagles ahead by 5 points. 6:16 on the clock.
And he does. He's a 71% free throw shooter. Fuller with pressure. Does get the ball over to Dickinson. Now the Cougars set it up, and Seneca Valley is still in their 2-3. Rosenberg's been the guy who's been keeping them in it. 26 points. He averages 16.
Yeah, they're going to have to free Rosenberg or Harper up offensively.
Harper gets it into Pritchard. A nice play, but it's blocked by Eisemann, and Seneca Valley brings it out on the break.
Comes Ajim. Showtime. Nice look baseline.
Viola.
Giove. Ajim.
Giove's made the last 4 points for Seneca Valley, and they're up by 7.
And Ed Davis wants a timeout, Kelly.
The Cougars, every time they look like they're making it, Seneca Valley pulls back on that fast break. It's really something to watch.
Yeah, they had pulled dead even, Kelly, at 48. But since then, it's been Seneca Valley outscoring them 9-2 in transition. Ajim running the show. Rosenberg has had a difficult time finding the open area offensively, as that 2-3 matchup zone has prevented a lot of those open jumpers that he's accustomed to getting here.
Still has 26, which is, you know,
he's played well.
Surprising. It doesn't seem like he's scored that many, but he has. And I guess it's because the Cougars have had difficulty getting the ball inside.
They certainly have. Harper also having a difficult time finding the seam in that 2-3 matchup zone. As we take a look at Danny Harwood talking to the Screaming Eagles in their huddle.
But there is still plenty of time left, and this was probably a good timeout for Ed Davis because his team had pulled even, and Seneca Valley all of a sudden built some momentum again and are out by 7. He's got the Cougars hopefully regrouped. They get the ball back. Rosenberg on a three-pointer. Well, he's gotten hot.
So much for strategy, as the Eagles that time were shading towards Rosenberg and trying to take him out of the offense, but he knocked it down.
And he's got 29 points, folks. Here's Hildred inside. Nice defense by Harper and Dickinson. Nice block by Dickinson. Weaver wants the foul, but he's not going to get it. Rosenberg back with it to Dickinson out front, and now the Cougars set it up again against the 2-3. They tried to get their own transition game going, but Seneca Valley gets back too quick.
Watch Rosenberg and Harper. They're going to try and free him up or isolate him.
4-point game here. Rosenberg with it now. Let's see what he does.
He's starting to feel it. He's got to look for a shot.
Giove's guarding him. Harper with it now. Harper had the chance to go inside there. He tries a three-pointer, no good.
That shot
Scramble for the ball, and Giove comes up with it, and Seneca Valley comes on the break. Giove goes all the way with it, misses, but Hildred. Oh, whoa. Foul called there on Pritchard.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good defensive play from here. And Reggie Hildred is making his presence felt. He's scored 16 points. Certainly played extremely well defensively. He's rebounded well. He's blocked a host of shots. And he'll go to the line for 2. Eisemann has scored 10, Giove 6, J.C. Lee 9, Myron Weaver 8, and Ron Ajim 6. So the balanced scoring of the Screaming Eagles, again, with 6 players contributing.
Hildred misses that free throw, however.
On the other hand, Rosenberg has scored over half the points for Quince Orchard.
Hildred makes 1 of 2. And now finally, McFarland, who has been out most of the game because he has 4 fouls on him, comes back in for Quince Orchard Cougars. McFarland, remember, is 6'7". They need him on the boards. We'll see if he can keep from getting that 5th foul. Rosenberg has 29 of Quince Orchard's 53 points. They need a big shot here. They're down by 5. Definite foul inside there. Hildred called.
And Dickinson continues to get that ball down low, but he seems reluctant to turn around and even look for a shot.
That's got to be very frustrating to Coach Davis. See a guy play the position fairly well, but not take advantage of the opportunities.
With both teams in the penalty, however, on each foul now defensively, there will be a 1-and-1 opportunity. You must make the first one to get the second chance.
Dickinson played very well in that last possession by Seneca Valley, though, defensively. He misses the shot.
And Harper goes over the top, goes over the back of Eisemann.
Seneca Valley will go to the line now as both teams are in the bonus.
With less than 4 minutes to play, these free throws will be crucial. You must make your free throws if you're playing catch-up.
Volmer comes back into the game, and Hildred comes out. Hildred has at least 3 fouls on him. He might have 4.
Yeah, this will be a short rest, I'm sure, for Reggie Hildred. And Volmer will probably play the defensive series on offense. I'll look for Reggie Hildred to be back in here.
Hand it to Dan Eisemann. He's playing despite a bum ankle. And the southpaw makes his free throw. Seneca Valley is now up by 6 with 3:52 left.
Tough kid. Southpaw.
The Cougars will be cracking the boards here. They've got to. But Eisemann makes them both.
Touchdown, Dickinson to Harper. Great block by Volmer.
Volmer on the block, but Harper follows up well. And Quince Orchard makes a quick conversion there. Oh, they don't call it. Looked like he slid his foot. Nice hands by Dickinson.
Great hustle. Great effort that time.
Excellent effort by both teams there.
Tremendous hustle.
The Cougars are rewarded for their effort on that one as Dickinson and Fuller both were scrambling all over the floor to get that ball back. Seneca Valley not happy with the call, but the Cougars have it. They're down by 5 with 3.5 minutes left.
And just think, Kelly, these ball players would be combining for one basketball team if it weren't for Quince Orchard being built.
That's right. It'd be quite a team. Dickinson cannot handle the pass inside as Harper passed into him. There's a scramble for it. Seneca Valley's called for the walk. And Coach Harwood is not happy with that call as Ajim was called on the walk. The Cougars will get the ball out of bounds. 3:12 left. 5-point game. Look for Rosenberg to do something fairly soon here. He's got 29 points.
That time Ajim garnered possession but slid across the floor, and that's a good call.
Here's Fuller. He misses the shot, however. And Seneca Valley comes off with it. They're breaking. Ajim, a nice turnaround there. J.C. Lee with it to Eisemann. To Lee. He hit a 3-pointer earlier. He goes inside to Hildred, but Harper ties up Hildred. There's a scramble for it. Dickinson comes up with it. 2:44 left. 5-point game. Rosenberg looking to shoot. Tries to pass inside. The ball is blocked by Giove and picked up by Hildred. Nice defense by Giove.
Certainly was that time.
Timeout called by Seneca Valley here as both teams are going to regroup. Both teams want this bad, Billy. As bad as I think we've seen 2 teams this year.
Without question, a lot of intensity on both ends of the floor, and it's even picked up. I'll look for perhaps Seneca Valley may go into their delay game. Their 1-4 offense, spread the floor with Ajim controlling the tempo out front. I'll look for Ed Davis to come out of his zone defense. They're going to have to play some man-to-man with 2:29 on the clock. And look for the full court pressure and some traps.
And somehow the Cougars have got to get somebody free to shoot. They've been having trouble the last couple of minutes doing that.
You got to set some picks for Rosenberg or Harper. And you don't see a lot of picks being set for a kid who shoots the ball so well like Rosenberg.
To me, the key to this game so far and the success of Seneca Valley has been solid defense and great transition, Billy.
Exactly, and they were in this position Tuesday night against Springbrook, but were unable to hold a lead. Of course, those three-point jumpers by McGuthrie and Hewitt had something to do with it.
Fouls have hurt the Cougars, for sure. They have played inconsistent, however, as Coach Davis said they sometimes do. But they've played a tough game, for sure. And they've got the makings out there to pull this out. Good defense by Fuller as Ajim lost the ball to him with 2:18 left. 5-point difference here. Cougars have got to get a turnover if they hope to pull this out.
It's Ajim and J.C. Lee in the backcourt, the two best ball handlers. I can't believe it.
3-point shot
and he made
by
it.
Ajim. That's hardly a well-advised shot, but he made it. And I guess all coaches will
he's been exceptional. He's
forgive for that one, and that puts the game in jeopardy here for the Cougars. Rosenberg tries a three-pointer but doesn't hit. It's an 8-point lead now. It's going to be tough for the Cougars to come back. They're going to have to foul here. Eisemann has it out front. Dickinson takes an elbow in the jaw. Traveling call. That's could be a costly call there for Seneca Valley, as with 1:39 left, an 8-point lead. Traveling call. Davis takes Harper out. Not sure why. There's only 1:35 left. They're moving the ball up mighty slowly for a team that's 8 points behind. Dickinson looking to shoot. Does, but misses, but McFarland gets on the boards, and he makes it.
Nice putback by Alfonso McFarland.
Ajim throws the ball out of bounds. Nope, it was tipped. According to the referee, it was tipped by the Cougars. 6 points separates these two teams with 1:17 to go. Boy, a critical three-point effort there by Ron Ajim, who's played a heck of a game at point guard for Seneca Valley. We've got to pick a star for this game. I'm not sure yet. Foul is called on Quince Orchard, on Fuller, 1:12 left.
Yeah, in terms of picking one particular player on the Screaming Valley, Seneca Valley Screaming Eagle Club, that'd be hard to do. It's been a total team effort without question. Rosenberg, on the other hand, has been virtually a one-man gang offensively for Quince Orchard.
This guy here at the end here has played something. He's played well all game at point guard, but in terms of scoring, made the three-pointer earlier. Seneca Valley is going to get the ball back.
And who gets it but Ajim?
Back out to Lee, and Rosenberg has to foul him.
Smart foul, only a minute to play. Down 7, down 6. You have to foul to give your team an opportunity to get the ball offensively and score.
Well, Seneca Valley, against the odds, having lost Darnell Taylor, having a gimpy Dan Eisemann, has played one heck of a game, and they're 6 points ahead. Could be 8 points ahead if Lee can make both of these free throws with only about a minute left. He misses, however. And Quince Orchard does get the bound. They come back up with it fast. Less than a minute. Here's Rosenberg with a three-pointer. It's off, however. McFarland on the bound. He's fouled.
Excellent rebound by Alfonso McFarland in traffic. Unable to get the putback.
Eisemann is called on the foul. 52 seconds left. Still within reach for the Cougars, but they certainly will have to make both of these and get a ball back fast. They're down by 6. McFarland makes this first free throw. He spent most of the game on the bench, however, because he was in foul trouble.
Right, not a lot of production from Alfonso this evening, who was out last week with a stomach virus and missed a ball game. He scored 7 points and has only 5 rebounds, which is well below his average.
Misses the second shot. Pressure is put on by the Cougars. A foul is called.
Good foul. Good foul. You can't afford to let time run off the clock. You're going to have to foul quickly. You're going to go for the steal, make the foul.
That was Adrian Bledsoe. Obviously, Coach Davis wanted his speed in there because he's got to put pressure on.
Yeah, I thought Coach Davis would have perhaps 5 speedsters in the game. He still got his 2 big guys in. But Dickinson hasn't been much of a factor in the paint area.
Here's Eisemann. Misses the free throw, but Hildred gets the bound and goes up with the shot. Misses the shot.
That's Giove that time over the back of Dickinson.
And Dickinson will go to the line for the Cougars. And they are still within reach here. Only 5 points separate the teams with 46 seconds to go, and the Cougars at the foul line. So if Dickinson can sink 2, we got a 3-point play as the difference if the Cougars can get the ball back. It's been a great game all the way, just as exciting as we could have possibly hoped. Dickinson goes to the line.
If Dickinson can make these 2, it's a 3-point ball game.
Has a terrible free throw percentage though, 38%, but he gets his own rebound. And Rosenberg on the 3-point effort, no good. Chawing misses the layup. Rosenberg misses the layup.
Rosenberg again from the stripe.
And he's got it.
Yes. Ajim breakaway to Hildred.
Hildred makes the shot.
Excellent pass again by Ajim.
65-61. Seneca Valley calls a timeout. With 21 seconds to go, fast and furious action there as Rosenberg hit the 3-pointer, but Seneca Valley once again on the break comes back with it.
The referee called a timeout, Kelly, but again, that time the ball was in transition.
Right.
And how an official can make that kind of call and stop the transition of a ball club, especially with 20 seconds left.
Rosenberg fouled by Ajim, according to the ref. It looked like a clean block, but Rosenberg will go to the line. And Seneca Valley clinging to a 4-point lead with 17 seconds to go. Timeout is called now. And Ed Davis calls the Cougars over quickly to his bench. Dan Harwood trying to get Seneca Valley to hold on here as the Cougars have come back. They were down by 8 just a minute ago. They've pulled to within 4 with 17 seconds left.
I see the assistant coach Rick Dorsey talking with one of the officials, asking him why he stopped play in transition. He just stopped play and gave the ball right back to Quince Orchard, which took away the momentum and any kind of advantage they may have had in transition.
And possibly a couple seconds on the clock.
Their best free throw shooter, Brian Rosenberg, will go to the line for a pair. And again, he's shooting a sizzling 83% and can pull the Cougars to within a basket with 17 seconds remaining.
We'll see how the Cougars respond after the free throws. They'll likely put a full court press on. Rosenberg has 32 points. That's a tremendous performance by the Quince Orchard player. He's doubled his average tonight. He certainly would have to be considered a star for Quince Orchard. He makes it 33 points. I'll tell you, there could easily be 2 stars for this game.
Right. You're looking at one of them.
As Ron Ajim has done a terrific job leading the Seneca Valley Screaming Eagles, and Rosenberg has done a great job of putting the points on the board. He's got 33. The Cougars go into full press here. Eisemann will try to get the ball inbounds. He does to Lee. Cougars don't react well there.
Only 2 seconds went off the clock, Kelly.
Foul is called. Nice effort there on the part of the Cougars as J.C. Lee will go to the line. 3 points separating these teams now. Seneca Valley ahead. Yeah, we're going to have 2 stars for this ball game because both teams really played a terrific game. Rosenberg can't deny that 33-point performance. And Ron Ajim just did a great job of leading Seneca Valley. Here's J.C. Lee at the line for Seneca Valley. With 15 seconds to go, he makes the shot. J.C. Lee, a 72% free throw shooter, puts him up by 4 points. Lee has 10 points in this ball game. 66-62 with 15 seconds. Look for the Cougars to put the ball up close or up fast. See if Lee can make this second one. He makes it. They're up by 5. They got to get a 3-pointer quick. And the ball back. Ball is thrown out of the bounds by Fuller. He was looking to get it to Rosenberg. He threw it out of bounds. And a timeout is called as Fuller lost his composure a bit, trying to get the ball to the big shooter, Rosenberg. 5-point lead now for Seneca Valley, and that could be it. It's going to be tough for the Cougars because they're going to have to foul Seneca Valley or steal the ball. If they foul, of course, it'll send Seneca Valley to the line. Some seconds will pour off the clock. But it's been a great game. We've had some terrific games here on MCPS TV, and in intensity, this certainly is up there with any of them. It's a great rivalry that has developed here. As we told you before, Quince Orchard is a new school, 2 years old. Many of the people who go to this school went to or would have gone to Seneca Valley. So a lot of these kids know each other. And they certainly want to take it to each other when they play. If Seneca Valley holds on here, they will go to a 10 and 8. If somehow the Cougars can pull it out within 12, they would go to 10 and 9. But the Cougars are on the verge of being 9 and 10. They might, depending on what happens to the rest of the league, lose their playoff opportunity. J.C. Lee with it is fouled by Rosenberg. With 8 seconds, 4 seconds went off the clock there, and J.C. Lee will go to the line. He made both of his free throws the last time at the line. Dickinson nailed him early, but the referee didn't call the foul. It was almost a body block. With 8 seconds to go in this great game between Seneca Valley and Quince Orchard, J.C. Lee has a chance to ice it here. As the Screaming Eagles have a 5-point lead. He misses the shot. But Volmer fights hard for the rebound. Clock is ticking away. Seneca Valley gets the ball back. Ajim to Weaver. Shot is no good. Shot is no good after the buzzer. But the Seneca Valley Screaming Eagles pull off a bit of an upset here in beating the Quince Orchard Cougars. A great effort defensively, a great effort with the press. Quince Orchard just couldn't get the momentum or consistency going. And we'll be back in just a moment as Billy Gordon will be interviewing our stars of our game, Ron Ajim, and of course, Rosenberg for Quince Orchard. Once again, the score, 67-62, Seneca Valley.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Namiro, and I'm an intern at MCPS TV. As an intern, I've learned a lot about television production. I've run the cameras, set lights, run audio. I'm getting valuable hands-on training. At MCPS TV, I work with a professional staff and with high school and college interns. We each work a minimum of 12 hours a week, and it's really a lot of fun. If you'd like to be an intern, call Dick Lipsky at 279-3141 and discover MCPS TV.
Okay, here after a sparkling game between the Screaming Eagles and the Cougars, I'm joined by the victorious coach, Danny Harwood, and our co-players of the game, Ron Ajim, a sophomore point guard, and Reggie Hildred, who had a tremendous game on both ends of the floor. First of all, Coach, a tremendous effort by a team that certainly plays as hard as anybody we've seen all year.
Well, that's what we pride ourselves on, Billy. I mean, you know, we don't have the greatest talent in the world, so we have to make up for that by pressing the full game, playing, you know, 100% the whole time, and our kids did it tonight.
One thing I noticed, you play all 11 guys, everybody gets into the game, gets into the flow, and the chemistry is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, we got a real good group of kids. It makes it, in practice, they work super hard, and everyone knows they're going to play during the games, so our practices are so much better, so everybody's used to working with one another, and they pull together.
Outstanding job. Ron Ajim, sophomore point guard, virtually impossible to press. When they tried to double team you, you'd split it, you'd find the open man, you can score from downtown, you can go to the basket. Just a sophomore, how long have you been playing this game?
Well, basically, I've been playing all my life, you know, and thank God I came down here to play for Coach Harwood because I just love the style of play. And, you know, it's real fun.
He likes to play that up-tempo. Every time you touch it, you take off. So point guard loves that, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And Reggie Hildred seems to be on the wing and open quite often, moves up and down the floor, jumps well. A tremendous game, Reggie. Any thoughts on your performance?
Thank you. I just try to play hard.
Play hard?
Crash the boards.
We'd like to mention that, you know, some other guys, J.C. Lee and Eisemann and just a host of other guys who play so very well for you guys. Coach, as far as the region playoffs goes, you guys are still in the hunt, right?
Yeah, it's a big win for us, especially coming off a disappointing loss Tuesday. And we lost some couple close games last couple of weeks. We lost our starting point guard. And now this win tonight puts us fourth in the region, which is in good shape.
Okay, I'd like to thank Coach Harwood for joining us and our co-players of the game, Ron Ajim and Reggie Hildred. And right now, back to Kelly Burke up in the booth.
All right, Billy Gordon, we want to congratulate Ron Ajim for his play, 9 points, and he did a terrific job leading the Eagles. Also, Reggie Hildred had 19 points and 8 rebounds and 4 block shots for the Screaming Eagles. However, we would be remiss if we didn't mention our other player of the game, and that's Brian Rosenberg of Quince Orchard Cougars. We couldn't get him out there for an interview, but Brian Rosenberg scored 33 points. He's one of the leading scorers in the county anyhow, but he really lit him up tonight, and he almost pulled it off for the Cougars. They had problems most of the game, some with fouls, some with just getting good, consistent offense against that tough Seneca Valley defense. And I guess the key to the game, as Billy has mentioned, was, and we mentioned a little bit earlier, was Seneca Valley's strong defense and good transition game. Every time the Cougars would come back, Seneca Valley would get that transition game going and get a fast break basket that would just demoralize the Cougars. Also an important three-point play by Ron Ajim there near the end, which put the game a little bit out of reach, and some good free throw shooting by J.C. Lee, who also scored 9 points this game and came off the bench to do a good job for Seneca Valley. That's certainly a morale booster for Seneca Valley. They had difficulties with Darnell Taylor being out, ineligible, their best guard, and Eisemann had a sore ankle. But they did a real good job tonight. I guess playing all 10 players through most of the year pays off, because when one gets hurt, the others can fill in. We want to remind you that we're going to have another great game for you on MCPS TV next week. You be sure to stay with us. Going to be airing those games at 10, 6, and 9 on the weekends, so you be sure to be with us next week. What a game. Terrific contest between Seneca Valley and Quince Orchard. We hope you've enjoyed this ball game. On behalf of Billy Gordon and our MCPS TV staff, I'm Kelly Burke. Again, the score, Seneca Valley 67, Quince Orchard 62. So long.